Hi everyone, my name is Fei Yan and you're watching Rev China. Today I'm bringing you a new car from a joint venture between Renault and Jiangling from China. This car is called E. Legend goes, once upon a time there were 9 suns in the sky and everything was burning. There was a warrior whose name was E. He was holding a bow and arrow and shot down 8 suns. Only kept 1. And that's where the name of the car comes from. Translate into the design language of the car. The one big highlight of this car is these big headlights. And they're in the shape of an arrow, representing the bow and arrow from the warrior E. Renault has actually withdrawn from the Chinese market years ago. And Jiangling started their business making motorbikes. So let's see what their first baby actually looks like. I told you all about the front of the car, about these big headlights, and then coming to the side, on all cars as standard you get 18-inch alloy wheels, and then you have body colored bumpers, you have a chrome trimmed skirt on the side, you have a bit of a crease here on the wheel arch, you have a sloping roof as well, which frankly I think it looks a bit like the Model 3 at the back. Moving to the back, you have a similar simplistic design. You have the same arrow shaped backlight, and then your braking light is down there, but other than that you have a spoiler on here. Let's have a look at the boot. Now let's come to the boot. It's a huge space and it stretches all the way down there. It's really deep. But the problem is there's a huge lift. So if you're putting anything heavy in there, you're going to struggle to actually take it out. I'm now inside the cabin. I have a 2-spoke steering wheel, which is flat on bottom. It's quite nice to hold. This is manually adjusted. You can get it out and in to get to where you want to be. The seat itself, this is not made of leather. I think it's probably foul leather, but it's still soft, gives you enough support as well. Quite comfy on the side. And then you have a driver's display where you have the speed on the left hand side, then you have your battery on the right hand side, and in the middle there is a huge, I think it's 12.5-inch center infotainment system. And in here there are different kind of cards you can flip between. For example, there is satellite navigation in here. Well, the whole system is snappy, is smooth. It's not anything, rocket science like you find in a Tesla, but it has everything that you actually need to control the car. It also has voice control in this car. So
你好啊，
if I say 去东森汽车，
找到多个结果，你找的是第几个？
第一个，
好的，即将导航到东升汽车美容。
开始导航。And there's also driving assistance, for example, automatic cruise control on here. And then in the center console, you have this piano glossy kind of a feel center console. There are all your switches for the air conditioning. And then you have a weird looking gear knob here. You have your parking control here. And then on the side, there is your control to switch to the sport mode or eco mode. If you get the top of the range dual motor version, there's also a SF button here. We don't have it here, of course, because this is the long range model. I think it probably represents super frantic. Car manufacturer says once you press that button, the whole car goes crazy. You have a storage place here to put your phone. You also have a couple of USB charger ports here, as well as some more storage back here. You can put your key in maybe. And then there's a huge storage place under the armrest. This car has quite a few safety features as well. There is your front car collision warning. There is your lane keeping warning. There is your emergency brake, your traffic light recognition, and then your parking sensor. And then you can also change your drive mode. So it's your standard, sport, eco, and then you can change the steering wheel to sporty as well. Here is your energy recovery settings. Now this is your 360-degree parking how it looks on the screen. You can see the whole car goes transparent, so you can see exactly where you are. You can also change it to a 2D mode and switch for different angles. If you're in a tight parking space, then you know exactly where you are, so you're not gonna scratch your car. Right, I'm now sitting at the back of the car. The car is 4.8 meters long, but its wheelbase is more than 2.8 meters long. That means you have loads of room at the back. The front is my usual driving position. I have tons of knee room. The roof has a bit of sloping angle. It does eat into your headroom. So if you are over 6 foot tall, you're probably going to struggle to actually sit up straight. The seat itself is okay, it's on the hard side, but I can do for a long journey, no problem at all. Because this is an electric car, there is no driving shaft in the middle, so someone can actually sit in the middle comfortably and rest their foot on the floor. All cars comes with these panoramic sunroof as standard. You may say, well, on a sunny day, it's probably going to be really hot in here. Actually not, because what this car's manufacturer did was they put a silver coating in the middle of the glass. So it actually absorbs a lot of the heat and also the UV, so you won't get a sunburn and it's not going to be that hot in here. There are ISOFIX sockets on both of these seats. You can also control your volume and your media playing over here, over these buttons. There is a armrest in the middle. In here you have 2 cup holders. I'm now on a busy city road. The steering wheel is quite light for this car. I'm now in the eco mode, and the throttle is light as well, but really responsive. Some problem with the brake here because it's soft at the start, but it can be a bit jumpy once you press it hard. Your viewing position outside is really good because the front window is large. It does have a bit of a slope, so I feel a bit depressed, to be honest, sitting here. The suspension on this car is okay. I mean, it's soft enough, it's quite comfortable, but you do get a lot of tire noise. However, wind noise in the cabin, I can't really hear much. So I would say the noise control within the cabin is quite good. Because this car is quite light, it's only 1.6 ton, I quite like driving this car on the road because I feel like I'm driving a much smaller car, actually a mini compact car rather than a 4.8 long saloon. I'm now in the sport mode. I can feel that the throttle goes just a little more responsive. It's a bit jumpy, but the steering wheel is still really light. I mean, you can basically shake the steering wheel left and right, but the car is still going straight forward. This car has a claimed range of 500 kilometers. Now we've driven here on the clock 262 kilometers already, and it has 146 kilometers left, and that is a mass just over 400 kilometers. So a 20% reduction, which is not bad. There are a few points I don't like about this car. First of them, because there is quite a slope here and you sit quite low. So when you're trying to get into the car, you sometimes bump your head on this pillar here, like this. And it's quite annoying. I've done it already a few times. There are some physical buttons for your air conditioning control. However, because of this glossy piano kind of look, it deflects light. So in certain angles, you can't really see what these buttons are for. And also, this tiny screen here shows your temperature and also your wind speed. But you can't really see it, and all the information is on the center infotainment system anyway, so I don't know what exactly they put this here for. You have 2 independent air vents here. However, you don't have any controls for these air vents. Instead, you get controls for the volume and your media player. Why? All of these metalworks, why are they exposed? It's not all bad about this car. There are a few points that I do like about this car. First thing is, Most of these body, including this bonnet, is made of aluminium, which means it's quite light. Actually, the whole car weighs just over 1.5 ton. So although this car only has 150 horsepower, it has a 0 to 100 timing of 5.8 seconds, which is quite good. And then is the technology they actually put in this car. But what they do have is automatic parking. You have traffic jam assistance, which means when you're in a traffic jam, you can simply lift it up your foot and then set your hands free. The car will deal with the traffic by itself. This car starts from 130,000 RMB to 190,000 RMB. The model we have here is the mid-range, long-range single motor version. It costs 150,000 RMB, which is about just over 20,000 US dollars. So although I've said loads of bad things about this car, I do think this car is great value family saloon. So if you have 1 or 2 babies and you're looking for a reasonable priced electric car, why not go for this?